Erev Tov, everybody. Great to be back with you here for another Pasuk analysis drill. Let's turn to our lesson placard. We're going to be tackling, or beginning to tackle, Genesis 12, verse 10. So I'm going to be taking you way back in time here. It's been quite some time since you've even seen drill number 1. Hopefully you'll remember the consonant and vowel sprint. And this is not an exercise. Most of my exercises, you will not find them in any textbook. You will not get them in any classes. They're rather unique. I'm not going to say one of a kind, but I have not found any other Hebrew teachers to be using the particular drills, many of them that I am using. For this assignment, feel free to just do the consonant and vowel sprint right on your computer screen. I'm going to forego the instructions, and I'll just mention that in the downloadable section beneath the video, there is a vowel chart for those of you that are needing more practice on your vowels. And just understand that in order to read Hebrew successfully, you really need to have your consonants and all your vowels down cold. And when I say down cold, what I mean is you know them so well, you don't have to stop, pause, hesitate. And understand, once in a while, I can even be tripped up momentarily on something. But if it's something that happens fairly regularly, it's going to retard the progress that you're able to make in reading. You'll try to read something and then you'll be stuck and stumped, and you'll have to cogitate and try to figure out, well, what is that, or try to find some chart somewhere. So the goal is to know them so well that it'd be like playing an instrument. If you're playing the guitar, you know the chords so well, or many of the chords so well, you can simply form them, and you don't necessarily have to be looking at every single finger on your hand to see what fret is it in, what string is it on, etc. I think you get the point. So I just encourage you all, whoever is in need of some more study on vowels, you need to make that a part of your daily regimen. I'd say 10 minutes a day would be good. And use your flashcards. So predominantly you're going to be using your flashcards, and you're going to be practicing the vowel sprint, which we'll do after the consonant sprint. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's start with consonants first. That's how it goes. Vav says V. Yod says Ya. Hey says H. Yod says Ya. Resh says Ra. Ein says nothing. Vet says V. Bet says Ba. Aleph says nothing. Resh says Ra. Tzadi Sofit says Ts. Vav says V. Yod says Ya. Resh says Ra. Dalet says Da. Aleph says nothing. Vet says V. Resh says Ra. Mem Sofit says M. All right, so let's go to the second line of text here. And I'd encourage you just to try your best to follow along with me. And it wouldn't even be a bad thing. Say you pause the video right now, you went ahead and printed out the practice verse. Wouldn't be a bad idea just to use a highlighter, or as you're trying to follow me along, you can tell there's certain ones that you're more listening to me as opposed to doing it with me. Highlight that particular consonant. That'll be a good indicator of where you need to refresh and strengthen yourself. All right, let's dive into the second line here. Mem says M. Tzadi says Ts. Resh says Ra. Yod says Ya. Mem says M. Hey says H. Lamed says L. Gimel says G. Resh says Ra. Shin says Sh. Mem Sofit says M. Kaf says K. Yod says Ya. Chaf says Ch. Vet says V. Dalet says D. Third line. Hey says H. Resh says R. Ein says nothing. Vet says V. Bet says B. Aleph says nothing. Resh says Ra. Tzadi Sofit says Ts. All right, great job. Give yourself a pat on the back. Go ahead and clear the drawing board here. All right, let's change our colors out. Okay, now attacking the vowels. And again, as always, shva is not technically a vowel. It behaves as if it's a half vowel when it's a vocal shva. For this particular exercise, we're really not going to get into differentiating shva. Is it silent? Is it vocal? It's really not necessary for the goal of this drill. So for argument's sake, we're simply going to pretend that all of the shvas that appear in this pasuk are vocal, and they'll be pronounced with an E as an egg, and you would say eh, like that. Eh. Okay, let's begin. Patah says ah, Shva says eh, Cherek Yud says E, Kamet says ah, Kamet says ah, Kamet says ah, Kamet says ah, Segol says eh, Patah says ah, Tsere says a, Segol says ah, Patah says ah, Shva says eh, Kamet says ah. Next line. Okay, you might want to catch your breath. Kirek says E, Shva says eh, Patah says ah, Shva says eh, Kamet says ah, Kamet says ah, Shurek says oo, Kamet says ah, Chirek Yud says E, Kamet says ah, Tsere says a. Third line. Kamet says ah, Kamet says ah, Kamet says ah, Kamet says ah, Kamet says ah. Segol says ah. There we go. So yeah, we got a little treat there. And 5 kametsim. Is that even a word? The plural of kamets? Kametsim? Good question. So we had 5 in a row. So that's kind of funny. All right, so that is pretty much the sprint, and I'd like to go ahead and take a moment and read this particular pasuk, because we all are in need of reading practice. I'm going to clear the board here. Yeah, just taking the time to add some pausal. I've just taken the time to add some pausal marker lines just so that we know where to pause in the reading of the text. It's rather important. It's not the first thing I would teach someone, but it's something you certainly don't want to forget about or not be educated in. It really matters, just like English, right? You go reading English sentences and pausing at all the wrong places and adding pauses where we shouldn't. It's a mess, right? So that'll be a process gaining an understanding of the pausal markers. So let us go ahead and read first segment here. Vayhi ra'av ba'aretz. Next one has 2 words on the top, and then the first word on the second line, and it is pronounced, and it is read as follows. Vayered Avram Mitzrayma. Next segment, 2 words. Lagur Sham. Ki chaved ha'ra'av. And finally, ba'aretz. Okay, say that a little faster. Let's read that. Let's read that slightly faster. Vayhi ra'av ba'aretz. Vayered Avram Mitzrayma. Lagur Sham. Ki chaved ha'ra'av ba'aretz. One final time. Vayhi ra'av ba'aretz. Vayered Avram Mitzrayma. Lagur Sham. Ki chaved ha'ra'av ba'aretz. All right, great job. So that is our abbreviated lesson for today. And again, just want to draw your attention to the complete vowels chart. This is something that you should aspire to knowing like the back of your hand. And I want to encourage you, even though I've been at this a while, sometimes I need a refresher because there are some of these that don't appear all the time in the Hebrew Bible. And we can tend to forget, certain vowels like kamet is actually a vowel. It's not kamet is the vowel and then consonant hey. No, it's like hey can be part of an actual vowel. We would call that matres lectionis, mother of learning. Okay, I'll put the cap on it, and I will meet you at the next drill. Bye now.